Okay, welcome to That's Good Broncos, the podcast, the YouTube channel. I am here with Will Keys, of course, and from the newly minted Bolts Blitz on Twitter, Jon Na. Not only is Jon a real-life Chargers fan, I've known Jon since 2009, back when we both lived in San Diego, and he's going to give us some thoughts on the Broncos-Chargers game coming up. Today's episode brought to you by DraftKings Sportsbook, America's top-rated sportsbook app. Use code DNVR when you sign up to take advantage of their can't-miss offers. It's the only place they're going to tell you to take advantage of them, and you can do it safely. Will is playing injured today. He's got some fucking bites on his head that are, or a disease, we don't know. It's spreading all over his face. He's got to go to the doctor. Will has never missed a podcast, so he's really an Iron Man of That's Good Broncos podcasting.
I'm like Phillip Rivers.
Yeah, Phillip Rivers playing with the torn ACL in a playoff game.
Same thing.
Turf toe.
My first question.
I probably didn't even need an ACL.
Yeah, what's Rivers?
As you might know.
Okay, first question for you, Jon. Broncos Chargers this week, which I totally forgot was even happening because I don't really care about the Broncos last two games. I'm not sure you care about the Chargers last two games. Do you miss Phillip Rivers?
Ooh. I mean, I would have given you a different answer in the beginning of the season, obviously, but now I don't, of course, miss Phillip Rivers. I miss Phillip Rivers now because I feel like we would have been in the playoffs. We would have been a better team for sure, but of course, he's doing that somewhere else. But I'm excited for the future. You know,
Right.
You got to move on. You got to accept. I accepted. I mourned. I grieved. I got over it in the offseason, and now I'm ready for the future.
So why do you say that you think the Chargers would be in the playoffs with Phillip Rivers?
Just because I feel like he was hiding a lot of the time management mishaps that were happening earlier in this year. And I feel like Rivers, a lot of people describe him as a coach on the field, and I truly believe that. And he has he has the it that everyone talks about. That it is that intangible, that leadership, that that confidence to know what to do in those really intense kind of like fleeting moments. And with a rookie, you're just not gonna have that. No matter how good he is, no matter how poised he is, you're just gonna have growing pains. And the style that the Chargers play is really close to the chess with all the teams. And so in order to play that kind of style, you need to play perfect. And we just don't play perfect. We're not even close to that. And so, those are my thoughts.
No, that makes sense. So he covers up a lot of what you're insinuating is coaching flaws.
Exactly.
It's like
a lot of coaching flaws. And I can't believe, and to me, it's like, it's kind of mind-boggling that like head coaches can be so bad at clock management at this level. You know what I mean? Like,
You're
just because,
preaching
like,
to the
I feel like
choir
anyone
right
who
now.
plays Madden for like for a week, you like kind of pick up on the time management thing there. But I don't know. It might be different when you're actually with a headset on and on the field. It might be way
I'm sure.
way more chaotic.
I'm sure the pressure's insane, but like Will was just alluding to, Vic Fangio's been in the NFL for 100 years, and he's still had issues with, when to use some timeouts, how to manage the last few minutes of the half or the game or whatever. So
it's funny. It's also what's also funny is that Anthony Lynn claims to have like a guy to help him with that kind of stuff, to help him with timeouts or to help him with like third and short situations, and that guy needs to be fired as well. Because like,
that's his only job.
Exactly. If that's his only job.
Well, I think you just take the Patriots approach. Like if Belichick has a guy like that and that guy fucks up, they just have that guy murdered. not fired. You are executed and never heard from again. So it's just like there's no consequences for poor coaching in places that are struggling. Chargers 5-9, Broncos 5-9. Chargers drafting at 9, Broncos drafting at 13. Do you want your team to win this week, John, or are you just kind of hoping for the better draft pick?
I think Anthony Lynn comes back next year if he goes 3-0 against the division to close out the season. So far, he's 1-0. He's got 2 more games left. I think he has a horrific record against his former team. It's like 2-7 or something like this. And Drew Lock is like 2-0 against the Chargers. So, although my heart wants us to win, I just don't think we can pull it out. I just feel like Drew Lock just plays really well against the Chargers. He gets better.
Not a lot of teams are saying that right now.
What's that?
So not a lot of teams are saying that about Drew Lock.
He literally only plays well against us. And I feel like it's because we don't blitz. We just don't blitz, and he just gets more comfortable throughout the game. And by the time it's the fourth quarter, he's kind of like figured out the defense and what we're trying to do. And I think that kind of led to the big comeback last time, and is probably going to lead to the loss on Sunday.
Well, that's a bold prediction.
And plus, Melvin Gordon had a horrible game last game. I think he'll come out to play.
Yeah, Gordon's been good. Outside some of the fumbles in the first half of the season, he's been arguably one of the best offensive players for the Broncos, other than maybe Garrett Bowles, who just got snubbed from the Pro Bowl. Which Chargers are there any Chargers going to the Pro Bowl?
There's Bosa and Allen.
Okay, so one deserved Pro Bowl.
What's that?
I said one deserved Pro Bowl out of those 2.
Ooh, which one, Will?
I'll leave that for you to decide. No, I mean, it's we haven't always been the biggest
we hate
Keenan Allen podcast. That's just because we think Mike Williams deserves more of the credit around there. How do you feel about that, John?
Mike Williams, there's no substitute to a jump ball specialist, in my opinion. And I've always loved big receivers that can just go up and get it. He's just always hurt. That's the only problem with Mike Williams. He always gets hurt. But I mean, I definitely love the physical tools he brings to the table for sure. But I mean, I feel like, why does Allen get so much hate? That's another question. I've always wondered that. Why do people not respect Allen? Is it because he's not?
Because he thinks he's the best and he's not.
Yeah. Because he has swagger and
he talks shit to the Broncos. That's why. That's why we hate him.
Yeah, it's mostly the Chris Harris thing for years.
Yeah. He's a great receiver. We just think he's a little bit overrated. He's a little bit cocky. That beard comes to a point. It makes him look evil. He looks like fucking Jafar sometimes from Aladdin, which is just bad vibes.
Yeah, I could see that. He did have his best games against the Broncos as well, so I could see why you guys would hate on him.
Yeah, he usually plays his worst games against Denver, so our perspective of his talent is probably skewed a bit.
That's true.
He did early on. I think when he's a rookie, he was really good against the Broncos, and then he would talk a lot of shit to Chris Harris, and then Chris Harris would usually do a pretty good job against him. I don't know. It's the thing where he told all of his fantasy owners to start him against the Raiders last week, and what do you have one catch?
I don't know how to think about that. Is that him just trolling, or did he really think he was gonna do well? Who knows?
Probably.
Oh, he definitely thought he was gonna do well.
Because he was banged up, right?
I don't think he was gonna play that much on Sunday, or if he does, he won't play that well at all because he looks so slow. He just doesn't look the same. And plus, we have younger receivers that are playing really well right now.
Guyton,
Guyton and Tyron Johnson, T. Billy. Yeah. Just put him in. Let him spin. See what you got. I'm sure the Broncos are doing the same thing.
Yeah, we've been playing our fucking young guys all season long. Like,
Yeah, not by choice though.
the injuries have been insane. Like, this has been one of the dumbest years for just in general for years.
Mm-hmm.
But for Broncos football, it feels like what I imagine being a Chargers fan has felt like
Every
for
year.
the last 10 years, where you've got all this talent and then half your roster's on IR by the end of the season. But the Broncos, half of the roster was on IR after like week 3, and we're like, oh God. Oh
yes.
God.
Like, when did Von Miller went out before the season even started, right?
Yep.
Yeah, Brandon found that out in the middle of a podcast that he was doing. Some Titans fans.
They broke the news to me.
They're like all smiling at you.
I was like, you guys are just messing with me. Luckily, it was just a phone interview podcast, but they're like, no. I was like, oh, shit. And then I felt like I was just dumb for the rest of the podcast because all I could think about is this is not good.
How would we handle that? Say, like, if we're interviewing John before week 1 and the Broncos were playing the Chargers, and not knocking on wood here, I have a wooden desk, but if we're like, oh, we found out, Brandon and I both found out Justin Herbert was injured and gone for the season, would it be better to just keep doing the podcast and then let John find out afterwards, or to tell him in the middle of it? Well,
John's a unique case because I would rub it in his face right away, just because I know John so well. If it were like a guest that I was intimidated by or really wanted to, have back and wasn't scared of offending, then I might just try to avoid it or, break the news gently. But John, I'm going straight for the heart.
Full bore. No mercy. Yeah. And I would do the same as well. I would do the same. I would not hold back.
It's funny because
fair enough.
To me, as people, you guys you're very different, but you're similar to me in my life. So Will is a huge film buff TV guy. That's our other thing we have in common. But we connected through football, working together. Jon and I connected through trying to work in TV and film. We were both doing video. We wanted to get to LA, and then found out we had football in common, which is kind of rare amongst people who are super into film and all that other shit. So Jon was the guy I could always just talk to about football, whereas other people I don't watch. And then, company gets bigger, but and Jon and I became really good friends. And even though Will and I aren't in the same city and can never hang out, I feel like if we were, we would be good friends, where he would come over for dinner or we'd get drunk together. Mm-hmm. What was that bar we would go to, Jon, sometimes in San Diego?
In the Korean bar?
Oh, no, yeah. And Jon got me on his flag football team in San Diego.
Oh, that's right, yeah.
That was
so much fun. That was so much fun.
Yeah.
I think we scored one touchdown.
We scored one touchdown, and I scored it.
We played a one-day tournament with 8 teams, and we only scored one touchdown, and it was Brand. And I think it was a little stump off pass, and we just took it to that.
Yeah, the guy missed that flag.
Who's Brandon's player comp? Who'd you compare him to in the NFL
right now? Oh, that's a great. I always thought Brandon was similar to Flutie. Not a player that's currently playing right now, but when we were people don't know Brandon has an arm and he can run. He's pretty quick, and so he has that kind of Flutie-esque kind of roll to his right, kind of chuck it deep. But who would be someone right now though? Maybe Kyler Murray.
Ooh, yeah, I'll take that. Calamari, give me that one.
Who else? Darren Sproles.
So we're just picking
just a scat back.
Yeah,
I'm just trying to find. I'm just thinking of the shortest.
Just short guys. That's your comp is just the tiniest players, which is fine.
To give Brandon a little credit, he is taller than Darren Sproles.
Maybe. I can give you Jon's player comp.
Who would that be?
DeMarcus Ware.
Oh, nice.
And it's just because DeMarcus Ware has big, beautiful calves, and Jon Na's got these thick, strong calves. And John can out bear crawl anyone.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, I have good bear crawl skills.
Yeah, you can bear crawl for like 100 yards without getting tired. It's crazy.
Yeah, it would help me. That would help me in like a zombie apocalypse situation.
Yeah. You know what else? Yeah. You know what would not help in a zombie apocalypse?
I have an idea.
What's that?
It's DraftKings Sportsbook, America's top-rated sportsbook app. The 2021 basketball season is here. The teams around the league took the offseason to retool and revamp and are ready to hit the court. DraftKings Sportsbook, America's top-rated sportsbook app, has rolled out another one of their can't-miss offers. Trying DraftKings Sportsbook is easy. So what are you waiting for? Get in on all of the action now. To celebrate the return of B-Ball, DraftKings Sportsbook is giving new players 100-1 odds on any featured matchup this week. That's right. All you got to do is bet $1 on any featured matchup this week, and if your team wins, you cash a crisp $100. While we are all excited for the return of basketball, well, I know Will is, let's not forget football and the playoffs are around the corner, so head to the App Store now to check out DraftKings Daily Odds Boosts. Download the top-rated DraftKings Sportsbook app now. Use code DNVR when you sign up to get 100-1 odds on any featured matchup this week. That's code DNVR for new players to get a shot at $100 on any featured matchup for a limited time only at DraftKings Sportsbook. You got to be 21. This is for Colorado only. Suck it, John. Restrictions apply. See DraftKings.com/sportsbook for details. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-522-4700. What do you think of my ad read skills?
It's radio perfect.
Damn right.
Radio ready.
Radio ready.
I do wish though that I could sports bet for sure in California. It would be
you guys
awesome.
Can't?
We cannot. I think it's like Colorado, New Jersey, and then some other like East Coast states.
Yeah,
but it's like there's only like 10.
You play FanDuel, I know, because anytime you're about to win $10, you tell me you've got the perfect lineup and you're about to hit that big $10 jackpot.
Excuse me, $100?
Come on. You just gotta hop in your car and, well, for me at least, hop in the car and drive 2 hours to the border.
Oh, there you
place
go.
a bet in Reno.
Where do you live, Will?
I live in Sacramento.
Oh, so you just go to Tahoe?
Yeah, you can go to Tahoe to gamble, or like there's a William Hill Sportsbook literally like a couple minutes past the California-Nevada border for, degenerates to stop by without even having to get into Reno.
Is California going to change that?
I feel like it's changing for everyone, for the whole U.S. Because before it was incredibly frowned upon, but now it's like you see commercials for it. You're like,
yeah.
Oh, shit.
Well,
I guess people don't care anymore.
It should. I mean, there's a bunch of tax money that comes in, so.
Yeah, and it's. I feel like it's just better for economics for everyone, economically, for the sport, for the fans.
Yeah. No, it's pumping a lot of money into the game, into Colorado, and like it'll be curious. Like I'll be curious to see what Las Vegas looks like with the Raiders there and all the sports betting when people can actually go to those games. And like that's something I'm looking forward to doing once we can leave our house.
The only pro athlete I've ever seen in Vegas was Beast Mode, was Marshawn Lynch. It was like before he was even a Seahawk. Yeah. It was like he was still Bill, and he was like, I think I was wandering around the lobby of the Cosmo, and he was like, just like walking by himself with like a black and mild. I was like, oh, Beast Mode. And he looked like from far away, he looked like a Ninja Turtle, right? His body size was so wide. I was like, from far away, like, what is that? Like, that can't be a person. It's like, there's no way someone is like that wide.
And then imagine trying to tackle that person.
I know. And like
full speed at you.
Good Lord.
Yeah, I wonder if I can even get my arms around his leg.
Ooh, I don't know. He's a big boy.
Yeah, it reminds me of, I think it was 7th grade. I was at a new school in Goddard, Kansas, America. It was Monday, or no, Friday, because I think we played our games on Thursday nights. And one of the cute girls in class was like, hey, are you number 25, whatever number I was, from the game last night? And in my head, I'm like, oh, yeah, getting noticed by a girl because I played football good. And then she was like, so you were the guy who got dragged on the ground by that big dude for like 10 yards? I was like, oh, fuck, that was me, because I tackled this guy and all I could grab was his foot, and he just kept like dragging me. Like, as
That's so funny.
Forward. And our team sucked, so it took forever before anybody else got there to finish off the tackle. And I was like, oh, shit, that's what I got recognized for. And then,
that's probably how, like, what's his name? That one safety that Vance McDonald, like, stiff-armed into the ground.
Oh,
I can't
fuck.
think his name. But he, like, stiff-armed him so hard he retired. And now that's pretty much what people know him for.
Yeah.
Obviously, I can't remember him well enough to know his name, but it'll come to me.
It sucks because we've written like 10 jokes about that guy, and now we can't even remember his name.
Poor guy.
All right, Chargers, John. Biggest need this offseason?
Biggest need? Offensive line. Easily. Offensive line, corner, and then edge rusher. I think offensive line, edge rusher, then corner. But
So
we definitely need – Herbert's been sacked a lot. He gets sacked a lot. He takes like at least 1 or 2 sacks a game. And and on top of that, he gets pressured a lot. So we need to change it up. We need to improve the line for sure. And that's the one thing that Telesco hasn't done since he's been the GM for the Chargers. He drafted Fluker in the first round like a years back, but since then we haven't done anything.
And Forrest Lamp,
just a couple second rounders, third rounders. Forrest Lamp, yeah, he was a second round pick, but he's just been hurt.
Yeah,
he just has a good name, man. He just has a good name.
Yeah.
Did you see his Lamp endorsement deal?
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of the wicker look, but I'm glad he has a deal.
Yeah,
I'm glad he's hustling.
It's a great fit. So you need somebody opposite Joey Bosa, is what you're saying.
Exactly. Like, everyone wants like that Ogden, that stalwart left tackle that will be there for 20 years. But yeah, that's what we basically need. Someone that will play with Herbert as long as he plays.
Is Bosa injured? Is he playing this week?
Like, I would be super surprised if he played the rest of the season. Because if he really did get a concussion, that would be his second in like 2 weeks. And
shit.
Yeah, he'll be shut down.
You want a good tackle, and Justin Herbert's tackle from college, Penei Sewell, is the first tackle projected to go. I don't know if you guys are going to be low enough to draft him. How do you feel about like trading up for a tackle?
Like, he would probably go number 2, right? To the Bengals. That's what's been projected.
Maybe, yeah. I mean, it depends at this point. Who knows? We'll say top 5 for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, Bengals have what? It's Jags, Jets, Bengals, Panthers, Falcons.
The Bengals would be wise. They'd be wise to do that, but who knows?
Yeah.
That's why they're Bengals too.
Or Joe Burrow.
Right.
Yeah, I would honestly be surprised if we traded up. Just because we just don't do that. Like, we did it the only time we've ever done it was last year for Kenneth Murray. And like, even that looks kind of like, I don't know if people are second guessing that now, but it's not panning out the way people have wanted to or hoped for. But I mean, of course if we could get Sewell, that would be the dream, but I feel like it would just cost too much. No, I feel like you have to give up your first, second, next year.
Moving up in those top 10 picks is really expensive. So you've got to be sold on who you're taking there. It feels like, to me, it seems like what the Falcons, when they traded up for Julio Jones, they gave up a lot, but that one seems like it was worth it. You think about like RG3, what the Potatoes gave up to get him wasn't really worth it.
Trubisky,
even just one slot pick there.
Yeah.
Who was a big trade up last year?
I don't think there was one. Really?
Was there one? Yeah, maybe the Chargers were the only one. Like the latter half.
Yeah, I remember it going just like shockingly according to plan.
Yeah, that was the whole like virtual draft type thing. I think played a little bit into that.
True. That definitely helped the Chargers with Herbert. Just kind of like don't panic, kind of trust.
Yeah,
trust the process, trust your scouts. Hopefully, you have a good system in place where you.
What was your gut feeling when they took him?
My gut feeling. I wasn't psyched. Like I was probably like not too excited. Because
I think that's fair. That's fair. Yeah, I watched him at Oregon, and he definitely had a lot of flaws that just feel like they went away in the NFL. I don't know if that's coaching or playing with better players, because he really didn't have a ton of talent on offense at Oregon, at least with his receivers. So maybe that's it. But it really does feel like he got a lot better in the NFL.
Yeah. He like kind of came out of nowhere. It's like maybe that's what it was. He is playing with better players, and that he was kind of like not held back, but he wasn't used to his full potential in college. And now that he's in the NFL, just like the way he throws the ball is like really pretty, right? Like he stands tall, and then when he throws it like 40 yards, it's effortless. And so as soon as I saw like that for his first deep ball, you knew he was going to be okay. You're like, oh, if he can throw 40 yards, he can do. Hopefully, he can make the short yard passes. But
yeah, I mean, even in Hard Knocks, it looked like he had a great arm, and obviously, Hard Knocks is going to pick and choose what they show you of Justin Herbert. But like Will and I were talking about that when we were watching Hard Knocks back in August. It's like he looks like he can throw, but even then, it didn't look like he was ready to grasp an NFL offense. He looked timid and quiet, like your prototypical rookie who just needs to sit behind the pro for a year to feel comfortable, like around the other guys before he's going to play well. And then luckily your team doctors are so incompetent, they tried to murder Tyrod Taylor, and you're forced to start him, and he's fucking good. Which, even as good as he's been, you guys still lose, which sucks for you because he's played really well. But what is his like biggest flaw? What do you want to see him do better next year to help carry the Chargers to maybe get some of those close wins? Because some of that's got to fall on him. Will would like you to believe that all of it falls on him, but
not true.
I think Herbert's biggest flaw is that he, at times when he's under pressure, he looks for receivers. He doesn't go through his reads. He'll like look for targets, right? He'll key on Allen. He'll target Allen before the snap, kind of deal, right?
Gotcha.
So he just needs to develop the progression. He needs to read the defense a little bit better, and he has been improving on that. His worst games were against Miami and New England, but I mean that was to be expected, right? Like,
it's so funny
like what rookie quarterback doesn't plays well against New England, really.
Right.
And I mean, everyone knows that. And everyone knows that. The whole world knows it. And yet it happens. It's like, that's like the most frustrating part about, any fan, watching their team play against New England. It's because you know exactly how the game is going to play out before, during, and after. And like, you can't do shit about it, right? And you're just yelling at the TV.
Right.
And it's been happening for the last 20 years, right? Like, I don't know. This is awful. It's awful.
Except for, what was it, last week? Was it Tua that beat him?
Against Tua.
Yeah, Tua.
Yeah.
That's true.
And now
it's true. Do you think I really thought Cam would play better with New England. I'm actually kind of surprised he's playing so bad. I don't know. I feel like he would have just been way more motivated to just play, just be laser focused. But
Yeah, well, I think
he was playing well early in the season.
Yeah,
and
The COVID really fucked him up.
yeah, he really hasn't played the same since then. Since that Broncos game, he was just off, and he misses too many passes. And I think I don't think the offense. I know they kind of try to gear the offense to him, but he's just not a timing passer at all. And he's probably playing with the worst wide receivers and tight ends in the league, or close to it at least.
And they've been without their best receiver in Julian Edelman, and he wouldn't be considered the best receiver like on most teams now. He's not the same as he was a couple years ago, and they've been without him. So it's like one of those situations where everything kind of has went wrong for that offense to succeed. And it looks even shittier because Tom Brady left at the perfect time, went to a better team, and even his inconsistent play kind of gets made up for by that defense. And he'll play like shit one game, and then he'll have like 380 yards the next game.
The funny thing is that even though you say that, I feel like if New England gets a halfway decent quarterback, they're right back in it, even with all their skill position players being the same. You know what I mean? Like,
well, yeah. Where do they get that quarterback?
Andy Dalton, I feel like they would have 4 more wins. You know what I mean?
No, that could happen. And plus they have, 9 guys opt out of this season? Like 5 or 6 of them kind of key players. So they've been handicapped the whole time, which is fine. Like, I'm glad to see the Bills win that division. I'm glad to see the Patriots not make the playoffs. Who's your give us your picks for the Super Bowl? Who do you think's going to the big show? It doesn't even – who do you want to get there? Who do you think's going to get there?
Who do I want to get there? Who do I want? Oh, I didn't even think about who I want to be there. I know who I think is going to be there is KC and New Orleans is who I think.
Interesting.
Who I want to be there? Ooh. I don't know. Like, you guys go first. What do you think about it?
I'll just take exception to – I don't think New Orleans is going to make it because I think it's a good pick. It's just that watching Drew Brees play last week, I don't see him winning. He'd have to win 3 playoff games at this point to get to the Super Bowl. And I don't think I don't think he's going to stay healthy. And then do you expect them to like beat Aaron Rodgers at Lambeau with Taysom Hill? I don't know if I do. That's my point. I agree with Kansas City. And then, NFC I think is a little more open at this point, although I would put my money on Green Bay.
Yeah. The NFC is so wide open because you saw Green Bay, like, they played like crap the second half of that last game. So they are vulnerable to like better defenses. That's the only reason I picked New Orleans is because their defense is up there. But like I didn't think about I always kind of assumed that Drew Brees would play better. Like, he played like shit, but then I kind of figured, he's a gamer. Like, he'll improve. But maybe there probably is a possibility that he's just too old, and that might not happen as well.
Well, maybe his ribs will be less broken and his lung will be less punctured by the time the postseason starts.
Did he force his way in? That's what I was hearing. Like, that he wanted to play, and he kind of came back too fast. But
he was bad the first half of that game.
He
looked better
horrible.
when New Orleans needed the drives late, but the NFC, there's not like one team that you go, oh yeah, that's a complete team. Because even the Packers,
they don't close games.
And the Bengals have now beat more teams with winning records than the Packers. So like, if you're worried about the Packers' strength of schedule, that's a thing. But in the NFC playoffs, that might not matter. I mean, the Rams are flawed. The Bucks are flawed. Washington is your NFC East team. The Seahawks should be the best team, but their defense is atrocious. Then you've got like, you could see that 7th seed, like the Cardinals, if their defense keeps playing the way it has been, where it's sacking guys 8 times in a game and it's opportunistic, and they've got the potential on offense to hang with anyone, but they haven't been consistent. Like, I don't like anybody from the NFC.
The Cardinals, they can't play situational football because of Murray's inaccuracy, right? Like like when they need a 3rd and short, like they either have to run it with Murray or they try to pass it with him and he just misses. Like because of his inability to throw it accurately, I feel like they're just not going to go
consistently.
Too far.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah.
He's kind of like the opposite of Tua, where Tua is kind of like he's way more of an accurate passer, but just can't do much else.
Not as dynamic yet.
Mm-hmm.
And then the AFC, yeah, the Chiefs are the favorites, but like I like the Bills and the Titans to hang with anybody they play. And then maybe it's like the Colts have a pretty good team. They've got the defense. If Rivers plays smart at the right time, maybe like there's so many better teams, I feel, that are a little more complete than the NFC.
Yeah.
The Browns I don't trust, even though if they can run for 180 yards every week, they can do what the Titans did last year. But I'm going to say what I want is a Bills-Washington Super Bowl. That way the Bills almost guaranteed to win. But then if the Bills lose to the Washington football team in the Super Bowl, that is a giant stain on an already.
Yeah. Well, then you have Alex Smith holding the Lombardi Trophy at the end of the year with one leg. That's right,
which would be awesome. Yeah. So
he replaces his right leg with the Lombardi Trophy.
Dude, that was so.
A Captain Hook.
I think that should be the rule. If he wins, he should be able to do that.
People should not sleep on Alex Smith. Like, when he was at KC, like they were like all they did was win games, like frustratingly, right? Like they would always possess the ball. Yeah. They would always be up 2 possessions. They would never give up the ball. Like he's a good like game manager, and if he can get the team organized, like they can make a run for sure.
I don't think people remember that the last full season he played, 2017, he was an MVP candidate.
Yeah, dude, they killed the Patriots that year, right? With Kareem Hunt.
Yeah.
His rookie year.
And then
he's legit. He can ball. And he's like this. He's a savvy veteran now. Like,
yeah,
he has like he is what they thought he was when he was the number 1 pick. Now, just like 50 years later, or however long.
The thing I think he's missing now, though, is his sneaky speed. Like you would always forget Alex Smith could run, and it would be 3rd and 8 and he picks up 14 yards. You're like, God damn it. But now, like after that leg, like he can still move, but I don't think that's part of his. I don't think he has that tool anymore, which
so he was really fast.
Yeah. All right, well, John, we'll wrap this up. Give me your pick for Broncos Chargers.
I think it's a 1-point game. I think I feel like
I love how all of us are not confident in our team.
Yeah.
We're all picking our team.
Okay, the reason why I'm confident is because Eckler's playing now.
Yeah.
And he wasn't playing.
That's made a big difference.
The reason why I'm not confident is because Bosa's not playing. And he is our defense. And so I say McManus kicks a game winner to put him up by 1 with like 2 seconds left on the clock. 27-26.
Perfect. Will?
I'm going to take a 10-point Chargers victory.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, here's the thing, John. The Broncos are out almost all of their corners. So
I've heard.
Justin Herbert's going to have a big passing day. Denver is coming off just a really bad loss to the Bills. Will and I picked that game to be close. We were wrong. So I think the Chargers win. But I like it being close. I'm going to say 19-16. Because the Broncos are really good at losing games and when they score exactly 16 points.
You forgot the Broncos'
to the movie.
The Broncos' best corner is Anthony Lynn.
Oh,
because he'll be like the one to handcuff Herbert the most.
The Broncos' best corner plays for the Chargers, and his name is Chris Harris.
Oh, I do think he'll get a pick. If there was a prop bet, I would like if the over/under is 0.5, I would pick the over.
That's probably fair because he didn't play in the first game.
Yeah.
No, yeah, and he's like he's like the type of player to like play well against old foes,
Definitely.
old friends, or like he's like the hyped up type of player. So I'm excited. I think he'll play well, even with like a half a foot.
Well, John, he is at Bolt Blitz on Twitter. Make sure you follow there, and everybody enjoy your holidays, your Christmases, your Hanukkahs. Those are the only two I know. If you've got Festivus going, just do it up. John, thank you for joining us. It's nice to see your face. It's been a while, and we'll talk to you later.
Yeah, I'll see you later.
Good night and good luck.
Thanks, John.
Peace.